Great question. All right. Christian asked the question, what are the steps to becoming a priest? Great question, Christian. Uh, so the the first step is to just talk to your priest. Um, Go and say to him, hey, I'm interested in the priesthood and I want to learn more. And usually he can fill you in with a little bit more. There are a few books that are really good to read. Um, and those can help to clarify what the priesthood is. Sometimes uh, as young people have this desire to do something, but we don't really understand what it is. We don't know exactly what we're getting into. And so it's good to read and to have these lived experiences with priests, and to learn from these books what the priesthood really is, to see, oh, is that actually what I feel called to, or do I feel called to something that I thought the priesthood was? And so that can help to clarify a few things. Once you've done that, you typically go and you speak to the vocations director. So for every diocese, which is a region of the Catholic Church, and for every religious order out there, there's a vocations director, somebody who is the contact person that you say, hey, I'm interested in this. And typically you'll talk to them. They'll ask you some questions and help you to discern and kind of clarify some things within yourself. And if after having those conversations, and sometimes you'll make a visit to a seminary or to a religious house or something like that, just so that you can see a little bit more clearly what it's like, and have that time set aside really to pray about what God is calling you to. After that, then they'll usually allow you to apply. And the application process, it's quite similar to applying to a college, but it's just a little bit more rigorous. And so I know for our diocese here in the Diocese of Tyler, what we do is there's a psychological evaluation. There's you have to get a physical. You fill out an application to be accepted as a seminarian of the Diocese of Tyler, and then you have to apply to the actual seminary, because the seminary is kind of like a university that also has lots of other formation. And so you enter in, and assuming you're accepted, you get accepted first by the bishop. And usually if you're accepted by the bishop, you're also accepted by the seminary, but they're technically two different acceptance letters that you receive. And after that, then you enter into philosophy. And so philosophy, if you do not have a college degree yet, is a 4-year process. And you study, you basically get, in the United States, you get a bachelor's degree in philosophy. If you already have a college degree, then you do 2 years of philosophy, and it's kind of a philosophy crash course. And it's referred to as pre-theology. And so in pre-theology, you take pretty much only philosophy courses. You might take some language and theology courses kind of spattered in there, but really it's a heavy focus on studying philosophy. And then after those 2 years, you enter into what's called theology. And so at that point, the pre-theology track and the philosophy track kind of come together, and you get put into that new class of theology, of theologians. And you study theology in the United States for 4 years. And how that works is you have essentially 3 years in that second half of the seminary called theology. And when you finish your 3rd year, you're ordained a deacon. And that's when really the commitment happens. That's when you make your promise of obedience and your promise of celibacy and your promise to pray the office and all of these different things. That's kind of the commitment time for a seminarian. And then you have 1 more year of formation after that, and then you are ordained a priest. And so here in the Diocese of Tyler, at least, it's either a 6 or an 8-year process. Every once in a while, sometimes for a special reason, somebody might have what's called a pastoral year. And so a pastoral year is essentially a year that you take off of academic studies and you work in a parish. And so that can be for a whole variety of different reasons. Sometimes the seminarian actually just wants to take a little bit more time, and so that'll give him a little bit more time to pray and discern and make sure that he really wants to do that. Sometimes there's something going on in the life of the seminarian that just kind of needs to be worked out or dealt with. And so a pastoral year is a good time to do that. And then sometimes, and this happens more often with people who are not from this area, the vocations director will assign a pastoral year more so that the seminarian can just get to know the area that he'll be working in as a priest. So those are all the priests, basically. You talk to your priest, you talk to the vocations director, you apply, you study philosophy, you study theology, you get ordained a deacon, you get ordained a priest. Good questions.